Game of the year. Game of the year. Game of the year. Hey, welcome to episode 133 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm Nick. I'm here with Saveun.
Yo.
And Blake.
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well.
It's been a little while.
It's been a good, 2 months?
At least.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
I think like two almost 3.
Nah, not 3. Come on. Don't be crazy.
2.5 at least. Right? Because you know what? This is very exciting.
This is going nowhere.
Have you guys, you guys, how's life?
Good. Do you guys want to talk about what you guys did over the break or anything?
Ooh.
Anything interesting?
I went on a little holiday.
Yeah?
That was pretty cool.
What'd you do?
Drove around New Zealand.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Well, drove around the north half of the North Island of New Zealand. So when
The north half of the North Island.
Yeah. So
How
when
far
I say
north did you go?
Cape Reinga, as far north
Whoa.
as you can go.
Yeah.
You went to the lighthouse?
Went to the lighthouse. Cape Reinga, for people who don't know about New Zealand, is not technically the most northern point of New Zealand, but is functionally the most northern point of New Zealand.
Well, what's the more northern, like
There's like a
the rocks that are just like
there's like
further out there or something?
just to the east is another little cape that's a little further north, but not much. Also, it's not really accessible. So, but this is it's like the spiritual north of New Zealand, and it has lots of cultural relevance, as I'm sure you guys know. So we went there. We went to Paihia, which is very expensive.
Yep.
Everything there was very overpriced, for at least for the quality.
Yep.
We went to some other places that
Well,
were like
it's super tourist town.
yes.
It's hardcore tourist now.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna trash talk a restaurant.
Yeah, do it.
This is what this podcast is now about.
Yeah.
2021, year of the Front Seat Gamers, now about trash talking
Yeah.
restaurants.
We're doing. You remember Lunch Eat Flavor? We're doing where we go to a good restaurant.
Yeah. This
Now
is
we're
the
going
opposite of that, and only I went.
Yeah.
So here we go. Okay, so in Paihia, there's like a bunch of places
Yeah.
to eat. Pretty much all of them are like quite expensive. There's an okay barbecue place called like Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack or something.
Nice.
Something crazy. It was fine.
Yeah.
They had a good crab dip.
Yeah.
I liked their crab dip.
Yeah.
And then there's a place called Craft Bar and Kitchen.
Okay.
Abysmal.
Wow.
Don't bother. It is so expensive. It took us. I think we ordered 2 burgers. It took like an hour for 2 burgers to come out, and they got the order wrong.
Oh.
It was so bad.
Well, it's busy tourist season.
It wasn't even busy. Half the restaurant was empty. It was so bad. Anyway, don't go to Craft Bar and Kitchen. If you're in Paihia, go out of town.
Wow. Did you give them a Yelp review or what's the app that you use? I can't remember. The Zomato
Menu log
or
was it?
something?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think Carrie did give them a review.
Nice.
Pretty scathing.
Good.
We did some other stuff.
Yeah.
We went to the Poor Night Islands.
I've never heard of them.
Me neither.
It's off the coast of a place with a very funny name. It's oh my god, I forgot the name. It's TT something.
Something.
It's
Cool.
not, I keep thinking it's Titicaca, but it's
Yeah.
not Titicaca. It's like Titi something. It'll come to me.
Great.
All right.
Anyway.
Should we move on?
Yeah. In 40
Anyway.
minutes, he's just going to be like, titty.
No. Let's sit here in silence while I think of it.
Yep. So you went to these islands.
Yeah, so it's like these relics of a volcano.
Oh, cool.
There's like all these caves.
Yeah.
And we went snorkeling.
Oh, nice.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
We went like swam through a cave. There were just like thousands and thousands of blue parrotfish lining the cave walls.
Wow.
and jellyfish. And,
Oh man, wow,
super neat.
so cool.
Did some other stuff. Drove around.
Mm-hmm.
Got some. Yep. Ate some good food in some places. And
Yep.
some terrible food in others. There's a good place called. We went to a like farmers market on the way through Kerry.
Oh, yep.
And
oh man, yep. Kerry. I knew Kerry.
Do you know the farmers market in Kerry?
I don't know that. I haven't been to, I haven't been to Kerry in like over 10 years. But like, man, I used to spend a lot of time in Kerry.
Why?
Because it was a better town than my hometown.
Where are you from?
Kaikoai, the like neighboring town.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And
it had I say better town. It had better nightlife. That was it. They had this bar there called the Citrus Bar that we used to go to quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just lemons, just citrus.
No, it was like a proper like.
They had grapefruits.
No.
It was like a proper bar where they would have like live music and stuff,
Okay.
and like
Was there any citrus?
I never had any citrus there. Never.
Okay, that's
It's
false
weird.
advertising.
Yeah. I always asked too, and they were like, "Get out here." No
Is it-
citrus.
Is it because
You're not from a.
Yeah, you're clearly not from around here. You're from that neighboring town.
Kerry is like a citrus farming location, right?
Well, I think so. Yeah, there's a lot. Yes, it is because there's a lot of like
There's a whole
orchards
juice
and
brand
stuff.
called
Yeah, there was a
Kerry.
lot of like there's like a long road leading into Kerry. Like there's a turnoff at and this long like road that has all these like vineyards and orchards and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And when I was a kid, I don't know if this is still a thing or if you noticed it when you were there, but there were a lot of honesty boxes along the way of people just giving like selling fruit, like that have just boxes of fruit.
And you could just
And it was just
Put
an
leave
honesty
money?
box. It's just like you take some fruit and you put some money in, and they
Wow.
were all down this thing.
How much fruit did you steal, Blake?
I mean, all of it. It's honesty.
And
I'm honest
the
about
boxes.
my how much. I
Well, at least
stole.
you're honest about it.
Yeah, like I don't know if they still do that because of
because of you.
yeah.
There's a bunch of I did see a lot of wanted posters for you.
Yeah, makes
which
sense. Yeah, that's
thought
I
was
haven't-
odd.
That's why I haven't been back.
Anyway, we went to this farmers market and we had some of the best pies of our life.
Nice.
A place called
Really?
yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I think the place was called. We didn't understand that this was a joke at the time because in our accent it's called Pie Here.
Yeah.
Piehere.
Yeah.
But in the Kiwi accent, what is it?
It's pie here.
Yeah, which is the name of a town that's nearby.
Mhm.
So we didn't understand that was a joke. We just thought it was a weird name, but it was very good pies. And it's just some dude who just like makes pies
Yeah.
every day, and
Yeah.
then
That name was just hanging there, waiting for someone to pick it.
yeah, low hanging citrus fruit.
Yeah.
Yep. He just stole it from the honesty box,
Yeah, he probably did.
and
People just have an honesty box of intellectual
Of-
property.
I mean, really, that's the internet, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a fun trip.
Cool.
We went to Kaitaia, which I believe is the
yeah.
rival town to your town.
That actually is my rival town. Kaitaia College was our rival college.
Yeah, I feel like I
You
haven't-
went everywhere except my hometown.
Yeah,
Well done.
I haven't been to your hometown, but I feel like Kaitaia is better.
Whoa, man. Whoa. No. No.
Does your town have a hot sauce named after it?
You don't need a hot sauce named after it.
Okay. Does your town have like a pretty good seafood restaurant with an all-you-can-eat salad bar?
No.
Okay, cool.
All
So
right, fine. Maybe it is.
Kaitaia is way better.
Yeah.
Also, they had a place called Captain Donuts, I think, and those donuts were dope. So if you're ever in Kaitaia for some reason, listeners, get some Captain Donuts. Real good. That was my trip.
Nice.
Oh, we went to the Waitangi Treaty Grounds as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I think their breakfasts are pretty good.
we
Big
did.
breakfasts.
We didn't have we didn't eat there.
Oh, okay.
But we did wander around. Now my wife is quite pregnant, so we did not wander a lot. But we did like the tour and went through some of the museums and stuff. It's
Yeah.
really cool. Interesting history.
Yep.
We went to a chocolate factory.
Oh, cool. Oh, was that in Kerry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been,
You know what
probably
I'm
been
talking
there.
about?
Yeah. I think I've been there.
Ma-
I didn't like any
Makana-
of their chocolates there when I went.
What?
Yeah.
Is it the Makana chocolate factory?
I don't remember, dude. This was when I was like a teenager.
Okay. What
this
did you
was a
eat
long
as a
time ago.
teenager?
What, just in general?
Yeah. Yeah. What was your favorite food as a
Basically
teenager?
the same thing I eat now.
Okay, so Your taste cannot
No
be
hot
trusted.
sauce though. I was not very good with hot sauce back then.
Right, that's why you didn't like the chocolate. It wasn't spicy enough for you.
Well, I remember like, I mean, it would definitely be different now, absolutely. But like the chocolate I had there was like it was trying to be way too like fancy.
This was very fancy.
Okay.
It was mostly peanut brittle and stuff, or brittles.
Okay. I remember there was a lot of fruit-based stuff. Like there was a lot of like there was like kiwi fruit stuff, and
We didn't see any of that really.
okay, yeah. I mean, look, this was like 15 years ago.
We had there was one of the ones we bought was a vanilla and cinnamon like a hazelnut brittle.
Mm.
It was very nice. And we got butterscotch panache, which is just doesn't that sound like a fun thing? Butterscotch panache. I didn't realize that panache was a type of candy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Thought it was just an expression.
Yeah. Now I know better.
Cool.
So whenever someone says that guy's got a lot of panache,
You'll be like, give me some.
yeah, well, quit bogarting it.
Wow. What does panache taste like?
Butterscotch.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Great.
I mean, what were you expecting me to say?
I don't know.
So video games.
Yeah.
What'd you get up to?
Me, I really didn't do too much. I hung out with my family a bunch, and then came back to Auckland for New Year's, and then basically just played video games.
Yeah, you got a new machine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a new computer. I got a new computer. Two giant monitors.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you got two different monitors.
Okay. Yeah. It's not interesting because one is very expensive and the other is not. I don't want two very expensive monitors
Why?
because it's too much. I
Okay,
don't
now
need that.
Let me ask you a question. When you got your very expensive monitor,
Yeah.
and then you got your not very expensive monitor,
Yeah.
and you started using them both,
Yeah.
did the thought, I wish I had two very expensive monitors?
No, my thought is maybe I made a mistake even getting the
second
big
monitor?
second monitor.
Are you sure? Because when you told me earlier,
Yeah.
it was like at first I didn't like it, and I thought it was a mistake, and then I was looking at it, and then I would look at my non-expensive monitor and think, should have got. How did I ever live without a curved monitor?
Well, yeah, no, the curved monitor, like oh man, so my main expensive monitor is now a big like curved monitor,
Yeah.
like 32-inch, like curved.
Yeah.
It's got super high, refresh rate. Like it was the highest I'd ever seen, so I was like, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah.
And it's great. So to match the size of that monitor, I got basically just a standard like 1080p 32-inch monitor.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the monitor that I'm like, have I gone too far here? Because like, it's kind of too big. Like I'm getting problems where like
I know.
stuff blocks the screen because it's so big. Like stuff on my desk. Like I have a big water bottle.
Yeah.
Any cups I put
There you go.
down.
Bragging about your big water bottle again.
Any cups I put down. Anything that I put like in front of that monitor, which is where I would normally put stuff before, because like the monitor that was there before was smaller, so nothing blocked it when I put it down. Now anything I put there just blocks the monitor.
Side table.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, do I have to get like a small side table now?
Yep.
I mean, you've got space to the right of your monitor. I can see from here. Why don't you just put stuff there?
I mean, I could. This is. I mean, look. This is.
This feels like a really solvable problem, Blake.
Yes, it is. Like, I'm not saying this is an unsolvable problem. I'm just saying this is a problem I'm having that I'm in the middle of like trying to solve.
I've also noticed the thing you complained about was not the curved monitor.
Oh no, the curved monitor is great.
Okay,
I got used to the curve. Like,
so when I said, have you considered wanting two curved monitors?
yeah, I don't want two curved monitors.
Okay,
That's too much, Nick. That's flying too close to the sun.
Do your eyes not like? I mean,
No.
I guess not, because when we first met, you had sort of a decent, just sort of like standard computer monitor.
Yeah.
And then you had like a janky ass old
Yeah, I've had that for ages.
4x5, like.
Yes, because my
You still have that?
it's in the corner.
Oh, Blake,
Do you want it? I'm trying to get rid of it.
maybe.
Maybe I could use that as a side table.
Just lay it flat.
Yeah.
Just use it as the stand for your other monitor.
Yeah. But I my Sega monitor at the time like just stopped working completely. It broke. Like I had a good sized Sega monitor, and I just had this old monitor lying around from like years ago. It's like, all right, I'll use this.
Are you saying that thing's old?
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know, you wouldn't believe it, right?
It's so
it's
that form factor is so modern and sleek.
Yeah. It's so compact, it's so minimal.
And thick bevels.
And super really thick. It's real chunky. It's tiny and chunky, just like 80s technology. Actually, no, 80s technology was big and chunky.
Yeah. You could bludgeon again.
Yeah, you could. That's why I keep it. Like, I don't have a baseball bat. I just have this monitor ready to go if somebody breaks in. Yeah. But yeah, I used that, and I was like, I'll just use this temporarily and get a new one.
And how many years?
It's like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I went to get a second monitor, I was like, I'm going to go big.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted it to match the size because I don't like.
You wanted it to match the size, but not the style or refresh rate.
Or the resolution.
Or the resolution.
Or the resolution.
Yeah. Or the resolution.
Because that would be my main issue.
Yeah.
Is that dragging another window over.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, it does that. That's what I'm like, do I need to, like, artificially, like, increase the resolution? Because I can do that.
Yeah.
But it'll, like, lose the, like, quality. But it's also, like, it's the same monitor. I'm not really too worried about quality. I don't know, man. This is an evolving situation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want this to become a regular updated feature.
Yeah. On my weird, like, non-problems.
No, these feel like problems.
These are not.
These feel like large problems in your world.
They're not. No, they're not even. Like, it's
okay.
I mean,
you know what? After the podcast, I want to hear about large problems in your world. I want a good friend.
I don't really have any.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I can rest my case.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the thing.
I guess
maybe
that's
why I'm putting so much like brain effort into like this thing. Maybe you're right. I don't have large enough problems.
Yeah. Blake, you need
life's pretty good.
You really need to start doing some controversial things.
I'll get my Twitter account up and running again and just start like
get into racism.
Just start, joining that MAGA. Now's a good time to jump in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the peak.
Yeah, right into the peak. Jump in. Be like, hey, guys, I'm on board. What's happening? What's happened? Catch me up on what's happened.
So what did you play?
I played some Cyberpunk. Played a lot of Cyberpunk.
Did you finish it?
No. Did you finish it?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't finish it because I kind of got bored with it.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo. Go on.
Yeah. I just I don't know. I just it just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over and over. And I wasn't that engaged. I wasn't really that engaged in any of the storylines. And I wasn't engaged because I was bombarded quite often with too many storylines at one time. Like you'd go for ages kind of like with the same missions of meet someone here, do something here. The main sort of because you've got I think you've got your sort of your main mission, and then there's these side missions that are also quite important, and they are actually quite good, those side missions and the main mission. But there's points where it'll be wait until someone calls to get the next part of this mission, and I was often finding that I would go out and get to this point where I'm basically waiting for the next thing to happen, and I'm happily just doing stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then, I'll get a phone call from someone for the next part, and I'm like, all right, sweet. I'll talk to them. Cool, got the next part. And then, boom, I get a call again for the next part of some other mission. And then, I've activated some text message thing. And it's just there was one point where I had it felt like 5 things just bombarded at me at once.
Mm.
And then afterwards I was like, what am I even doing now? I'd got the initial excitement of oh, cool, next part of this mission was just gone because I've been bombarded with 5 other things all at once. Did you have any thing like that?
I tried to do a little bit of role playing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get myself into that headspace of, this big event happens right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
You witness something.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to think to myself, how would I respond to this? Would I want to get to the bottom of it?
Mm.
So that was my priority.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually do too many side quests, but
Yeah.
but my phone was blowing up because
Yeah.
as soon as you go into another area,
Yeah.
that would happen.
That was actually like, at first I thought that was really cool, but it became insanely annoying because it meant you had all these contacts.
Mm.
You can open up your like phone contacts basically, and you've got this huge list of people, and you don't really remember who like 90% of them are.
Yeah.
And like there's no like picture next to them. Like there was like times I was like just calling people to remind myself who that person was. And then
yo, who dis?
Yeah, that's kind of it, because like they'll either answer and start a dialogue where you have no options except to say goodbye. So you just call up and then hang up straight away.
Okay, good.
But their like little picture pops up or something, or they just don't answer. Like, I was just finding it. I was I guess overwhelming. I guess is what I was.
That's what it
getting
sounds
annoyed
like.
at. Yeah.
It's interesting. So Ubisoft of all companies put out an article, I think last week, about how they handled basically this exact problem in Watch Dogs.
Oh yeah.
The most recent one.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to me that because we kind of have a similar-ish broad problem in Path of Exile, in which there's a lot of stuff to do at this point, like tons of stuff, arguably too much stuff, and it becomes a question of how and when do you introduce these things so that the player doesn't get overwhelmed. And in Watch Dogs' case, they created a whole system to gauge basically how busy the player is with things, how much attention they can pay to information, and how best to deliver that information to the player.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, in the case of Cyberpunk, it was just whenever. Just give it to them whenever.
Well, there was definitely a quest that were like, you get to a point where it's like, okay, wait for someone because they're doing something off on their own, and they'll contact you afterwards. And I was like, that's cool. Like I kind of like that because it gives you a chance to go out and do side stuff, and it gives you a bit of freedom instead of always rushing, feeling like you have to rush and do the main mission.
Yeah.
But then the problem was, like, it seemed like when the next part of that triggered, a whole bunch of other things triggered at the same time. At the same time.
That's sounds like they were using basically like a quest flag system. Things are bottlenecks. There's certain progression checkpoints where you unlock a bunch of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And very common thing to do.
Yeah.
We do it. But you do come up against this problem of if a player isn't actively completing content, then their list of options grows, and then you face a thing like basically choice paralysis, where there are so many options to do. Player feels overwhelmed, and they retreat entirely. And it's a very real problem that games have to manage. Or else you basically get exactly what you experience.
Yeah, it's weird too, because like The Witcher, you had a lot going on as well, but I never had that same feeling, and I think it's because, like the mechanic of quest givers contact you directly no matter where you are.
That's exactly right. In a game like The Witcher,
you have to find a person, and talk to them.
The player is the one engaging in this content. And this is what Watch Dogs had to face, the problem of like when the game is delivering information directly, there's no when the onus isn't on the player, it's very easy to overwhelm them. And it's also very easy to confuse them. So, for example, if you're on a mission and critical mission information is often delivered by phone, like, oh, he's gone into this tunnel, you need to pursue him, and then just coincidentally, the system is like, oh, let's also deliver this new mission. It can get confusing. Where it's like, okay, I've been told to go into this tunnel, and now this other guy's telling me there's a building nearby. Is this part of the same mission? Is it a different thing? So managing having a direct line of communication to the player is something that actually it sounds like it's going to be convenient, but it can actually cause a lot of new and interesting problems.
It's just the bombarding of it, like that. That's really it. It did feel like I was at like a bottleneck at time, like quite often, You know, like I said, it would be like one thing would trigger, like the next phase of something would trigger, and then everything else, like it would trigger a whole bunch of other stuff that like instantly contacts me. Like there was like straight up, there was like one, like I was saying, there's one time where I got like 5 different like mission updates at once that were all like phone calls,
just like back to back to back.
Yeah. And I was
that seems bad.
I finished it being like, what was the first one? Like, like I totally like
that's
forgotten.
Too much.
Yeah.
Like what? Okay, I think a lot of this also just sounds like it needed more playtesting. It needed broader playtesting. It needed like someone who didn't know the game at all to go in and approach these problems and go, or like just to experience these things and go, this is too much. Because there are ways to like solve that. You know, having it be triggered based on proximity to the objective, just by and then it's like a case of, you know, you hand in a quest and it triggers a one that's nearby rather than being based on progression or just like maximizing, like putting a maximum on the number of things that can be active at any one time.
It's very
one of the things that Cyberpunk promoted throughout its development was the volume of quests, and they're all different and all these other things. And it's cool that there's that much content, but that content needs to be manageable.
Yeah, it is cool. There's a lot of quests, and they also have like they've got like the they've got like the main quests, and they've got like side quests that are all quite interesting. But then they've got like gigs as well that are just like these things that you like that are like active on the map, and they sort of like trigger when you're in their proximity. Like you'll get a phone call when you're in their proximity, and someone will be like, "Hey, there's like a dude in this house that you need to kill." It's always a dude to kill, basically. Like these things are really just mercenary like things,
just
and
tasks.
Basically. Yeah, and like that's kind of cool because like you'll sometimes you'll be in a situation where you're like, I'm not really sure what to do next, and you look on the map and you're like, oh, there's like a couple of these like mercenary missions nearby. I'll do those first and then like figure stuff out. And
so to me, that would have been a perfect way to solve this problem of delivering too much information to the player. Where, the quests aren't directly given to you, but there are little tasks that will lead to these quests. So it'll be like, oh, someone's trying to offload some goods. Why don't you go check it out? And then that turns into a larger quest. But it's only given based on proximity, and it's a very simple, straightforward, player-driven activity. That gets you on that line.
Yeah. They do run into some problems sometimes where they have like, say they have like a side quest that's like, go into this building, infiltrate this building or whatever. And right next to it, there'll be a gig that is also go into the neighboring building.
Oh, boy.
And so like, you'll be walking up to it being like, all right, I'm going to go into this building. And then you get a phone call telling you to go into a different building. And you can very easily accidentally like switch your
active quest.
Your active quest. Yeah. And I did that once, and I went into the neighboring building, and I was so freaking confused over like what I was like looking for and doing. And then I looked on the thing, and I was like, God damn it, this was like the neighboring gig.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah.
These are interesting problems as a game designer, especially one who's worked on tutorialization and stuff. I find this stuff fascinating.
Yeah.
You should play Cyberpunk.
You should give it a go. Like,
it doesn't sound that good.
It's still like I still had a good time. There's just things about it that are like I've played better versions of things.
Yeah, I'll just play the better version.
Yeah. Well, like, what was your game style? Like, were you run and gun? Were you sneaking around or?
I was doing a bit of hacking.
Yeah.
And submachine gun kind of thing.
Yeah.
Headshots was my jam. Towards the end, I started getting into like katanas and just.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, cool. I haven't used any melee weapons.
Yeah, I happen to get this katana with like ridiculous damage.
Nice.
And it's hard to speak about this game without not mentioning the problems that it has, like the bugs.
I think it's fine. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, get in like.
Really?
Yeah. Mention the bugs, man.
Mention the bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Blake is saying the game is fine. I think he's saying it's fine to talk about the bugs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fine to talk about the bugs.
Did you have issues just picking up items? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sometimes if like say
just picking up a gun on the ground.
Occasionally, but it would be like I noticed it was a thing of like if a person has died and a gun is nearby, I would have trouble sometimes picking it up because it's like
you'd pick up the body.
Yeah, it was having like it was having trouble like
I had things like
realizing what I was trying to select.
I had things like markers appearing for something unrelated through a wall. And I think we're running similar like PC setups. So this is not like a console issue. It's just a PC thing. But just picking up items, like things that I wanted and not being able to, is quite frustrating.
Yeah. See, I haven't really had that.
Okay.
Like I've had it when stuff is basically too close to each other, like a body. So like, I have to. Like,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alex expressed this, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, that happened to me." And it's so fundamental to a game like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A problem.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. Driving was rough. The NPC stuff is really rough.
Driving. We can talk about driving.
Yeah.
I had to download a mod to be able to drive properly.
Okay, so I ran vanilla.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what these guys delivered.
I could not drive.
Okay.
It was impossible. Because playing mouse and keyboard, I could not drive on a keyboard.
Yeah. Huh, did you go third person?
Yeah, I tried going third person and it helped a little bit. But still, like, I was swirly all over the place. I was swirling everywhere. I had to download a mod that, like, really, like, tightened up the swerve. Like, as soon as you let go of a key, it would, like, start tightening up. But all, like, also, I didn't want to play third-person driving. I wanted to play first-person driving.
Yeah, okay.
First-person driving I've never played a game that has that and is so terrible at first-person driving. It's you can't see. There's some cars where you just basically can't see the road because there's stuff in the way. There's
on the dashboard,
on coming out of the engine in front of you, and you can see like maybe. You've got this huge, like, windshield to look through, and you can see maybe, like, an eighth of it through, like, just where you are. And you're like, and also, so there's that is a problem.
Yeah.
Like, being able to see the road from the car, from first person. And it's the same on motorbikes as well.
Yeah, okay.
Motorbikes.
What?
Yep.
You're just looking at the visor?
Or you're either looking at the visor or you're looking at the body of the bike because the character like leans down like they're racing, and so their head goes down so far that literally half the screen is the body of the bike. It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe because I was like I really liked the bikes. I ended up like bikes were like my main thing, and I was like so bummed out that like I couldn't play them in like first person because like I couldn't see where the hell I was going.
That seems crazy to me. That, like on bikes, you wouldn't be able to see the road.
Yeah, it's mental. And so I'm not done with this beef about driving because so first person in cars. Were you getting insane just bloom outside and glare outside the car?
No, but I was getting the opposite. Everything was dark.
Really? What?
Yeah, and this was very obvious when I took this one mission and we were talking in the car, looking out.
Yeah.
The headlights were meant to be on.
You couldn't see?
Dude, my TV brightness, I was using HDR and stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah. So it was completely black. And what I saw was there's an art thing that happens if you were to turn off like the diffuse map and then just look at subsurface on a character.
Oh, okay.
So everyone looks like a jelly bean kind of.
Yeah.
So it's just that. I was just looking at jelly beans. Like I was looking at my own legs.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Jelly beans. And like it was rough. It was black.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't see anything.
Oh my God, dude. And we're running like some pretty good computers now.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Game of the year. Game.
I was getting this thing where how a lot of games nowadays they like
lens flares.
Yeah, well, not lens flares, but like they try to simulate your eyes adjusting to brightness.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're in a room, and it's like, it looks fine, but then when you step outside, there's this like sort of
light to dark.
Yeah.
It's like an eye adaptation.
Yeah. So, the game does that a lot. But for some reason, when I'm in a car, because it's like quite dark inside, inside looks great, but outside, it's just like
it's
blown out, completely white. I can't there's points where I'm just driving on the road. I'm like, I can't see anything. Like I straight up cannot see any.
What are your settings, by the way?
like ultra
Ultra
psycho
ray
or
tracing
whatever.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
psycho shadows and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I
Nice.
thought. I thought, oh, maybe with ray tracing I won't get it.
Yeah.
But I was still getting it.
So I found, just with my experience,
Yeah.
that ray tracing was hot trash.
Yeah.
And you should just turn it off entirely and just run the core game with deferred rendering and maybe DLSS, maybe.
Yeah.
And that actually looked better, like shadows
Yeah. I
existed.
I remember the screenshot you sent me that was like a hallway with ray trace off, and it was like this awesome like moody red lighting everywhere, and then ray tracing on, and it's just like a
blown out white light
white.
fluoros.
Yeah, like what the?
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was quite an early like screen or image just going around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when that happened, I was just playing around with like turning ray tracing off. My issue was I could stand under a street lamp.
Yeah.
Look down at my character's shadow where it should be and just see a blob. And all my ray trace settings were like turned right up. Nothing.
So
towards the end, I was like, maybe ray tracing is the issue.
Yeah.
Turned it all off.
Yeah.
And people started having shadows and stuff.
Oh, weird. See, I've not had like I had ray tracing on, and like I've not seen much of an impact on like
visual?
Yeah, like I don't think I was getting that weird like blown out white hallway that like you were
right
like talking about.
I think they fixed it later.
Yeah. But the thing is, I've also like so I started playing this before I'd got my new graphics card that was like ray trace enabled, but I downloaded a graphics mod.
Oh, of course.
And it just like it did it just heightened the contrast on everything, because like the vanilla game has this weird like brown like filter over everything. Like I don't know if you'd notice it, but when with this mod there's a key to like toggle it, and like the vanilla one just has this like brown thing on it.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
2006 era. Everything is brown.
It's
like a film grain or something.
Yeah, almost like a film grain, but I've got film grain turned off. Like, yeah, it was real weird, and like, so I just had this mod that like, it just upped the contrast on everything, and it made I think it made everything look way better. And then when I turned on when I got round to getting a new graphics card and turned on ray tracing, I didn't really see much of a difference in like anything really.
Yeah. Dr. Alex at work has opinions about specifically their implementation of ray tracing.
Yeah.
The game is so horrible with like memory management that they end up having to cull a lot of geo behind you.
Oh yeah.
So even with ray tracing, assets just don't exist behind you anyway.
Oh right, yeah.
So it can't reflect anything.
Bouncing doesn't work.
Yeah. So also your main character is not captured in reflections, which is a problem.
That seems insane to me.
Yeah, because
why would you bother with reflections if you can't see yourself?
Exactly. Mirrors. You got to turn mirrors on.
Yeah, no, it's
what?
That is such a. That's so stupid. It's a smart mirror.
And you want me to get this game, huh?
Yeah, you should get it. You should get it, Nick.
So the conversation going around at work, some people say they'll fix it, and I don't. I think the task is too large. I actually like, just based on what they delivered and what they've said, I don't think this studio is capable of delivering that.
I don't know what.
I think a lot is to be said for having live testing. And I say this with the experience of having worked on Path of Exile, where we launch buggy leagues regularly and fix issues quickly. Once you have live data coming in and you have feedback from players, it is a lot of problems that are otherwise subtle or edge cases become very apparent. And you can improve a product very quickly from that. Now, that's not to say that like Cyberpunk can become an amazing game very quickly or anything, but they've obviously committed to doing DLC. Maybe they want to do like paid DLC later, like expansions later on, and in order for that to be a viable business model, they need to make the game good, like worth playing.
Yeah.
And so and based on what I've heard, they've cut out a lot of subsystems and a lot of areas and content just to get the game out the door. So I can imagine that over the next 6 months to a year, there will be significant improvements and upgrades and additions to this game. Will it make the game good? I don't know, but I think that the capacity for them to develop good content is much stronger. They have a much better chance of making the game good now that they've got real player data.
I feel like I wonder if it's like a No Man's Sky situation. Because you know,
God, I hope not.
You know the state of the state of No Man's Sky really like turned it around.
Yeah.
You know,
again, I think because they had real players.
Yeah.
At a certain point.
Yeah, and
I think the game scope is way different. I don't think you can compare those two games. The NPC stuff, like just as a system, is so it looks amateur, like with today's standards.
Are you talking about the way they navigate?
Yes. The entire behavioral system is non-existent. It is very amateur.
Yeah,
and it's very surprising because you think this is a step up from what they had with The Witcher, and then you wonder why and what the difference is between the two, given 10 years of development.
Yeah, it's a very good question, a very good point.
So yeah, I'm left just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, me too, because we've all seen the comparisons of GTA or Red Dead, and you're just like, this is like 10-year-old or more, like kind of. It feels like the AI is like 10 years old at least. Like even just so last year we both played Last of Us, right? And their like enemy AI, I think, was like pretty damn great in that game.
Yeah.
And then like compared that to like Cyberpunk, their AI, the enemy AI is just trash. It is like 15-year-old, like it's from like the 2000s basically. It's just like the standard, like you got a guy that's standing in one spot or maybe patrolling back and forth, and then they'll just like stare at a wall for long enough for you to sneak up behind them, kind of thing. Like it just doesn't feel real at all, like any of that stuff.
Interesting.
And like you distract an enemy, because I played a lot of sneaking.
Yeah.
So I saw, you distract an enemy and they'd go stand, look at something for ages, get like waiting for you to like attack them from behind, and then after long enough, they just go back to their one spot where they were before.
Yeah.
And like you find these situations where, say, like a gang is like robbing someone, but they're just repeating. They are like the person robbing someone is just repeating the same thing over and over and over. The victim is repeating the same thing over and over. The situation never progresses to like they've robbed them and left. It's just like it's
waiting for you.
Yeah, it's straight up.
Yeah,
just a repeating like thing.
Did The Witcher have stealth?
No.
So this is what makes me. I wonder that if this is a symptom of trying to cater to certain gameplay styles. And it's very possible they had complex AI.
Yeah.
And it was making a stealth play style difficult. Particularly given that this is a game that has a lot of press, and they probably want it to be broadly popular, and playable and accessible and quote unquote like easy, at a certain level, and the simple solution for that is script loops that make it easy to do the gameplay style of
like
stuff.
it's just the kind of thing of like I'd seen that in games from like 10 years ago, and it was fine back then because it was like still quite new, but now there's been other games that have come out that have done stealth like so much better.
I
that
think also
your expectations are so much higher than they used to be, and then to see this like really bad like just stealth implementation is just really disappointing.
It's interesting. I think particularly interesting because it's a futuristic game. So things like these people should have access to good technology, detection, all these things. On top of that, you have other options for handling the situation, so that when it seems so unnatural for them to be patrolling back and forth aimlessly. It stands out. And when you're playing a stealth character, for example, it becomes obvious.
Yeah.
Like, so if we compare this to even Oblivion back in 2006, like, yes, characters will kind of act a little unnaturally. They'll stand around doing nothing, but they won't. It won't be a scripted behavior of walking, necessarily patrolling back and forth, waiting for you to backstab them.
Yeah. Well,
it seems honestly seems like a quick fix to a gameplay access problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It was just like the whole, because I played a lot of stealth, and it just seemed like that entire game way of playing just felt very clunky.
Yeah.
Like even grabbing someone from behind was like you had to be in the exact like spot.
I've heard melee in that game is abysmal.
What's that?
I've heard melee in Cyberpunk is abysmal.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. You said before we recorded that you felt similar to how I would have been.
I don't know.
feeling,
I was
like,
just guessing. Like,
yeah, okay. But what did you mean?
I just meant I was overall kind of disappointed in it.
Kind of disappointed?
Yeah, quite disappointed. To be honest,
because I wanted it to be good.
I don't think
anyone wanted it to be bad.
I really wanted it, and I feel like I played a lot of it. I mean, I didn't finish it. 60 to 80. I
My
can't remember.
goodness. Okay, you put way more hours than I did. I think I got through it, the main story quest anyway, in like 20 hours.
Okay.
Did you feel compelled to play any of the side content afterwards?
Not at all. Not at all.
Now, did you beat it because you felt like you should beat it?
Yes.
And you weren't necessarily enjoying it?
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because
Boy, what a disappointment.
because the standard that was told to me was so high.
Yeah, yeah.
And man, it definitely didn't deliver. I was skeptical going into it, and it cemented how I feel about that studio and what they can deliver.
You know what it did though?
What's that?
Made me want to play Red Dead.
No, that's good.
Because there were things in it, like there were things in it that reminded me of Red Dead that I was like, Red Dead did this so much better.
The horses?
So no, there was not horses, but there was like, there were times I was like, this was just a little thing, but I was like, but it did remind me of Red Dead, where I was like driving along on my motorbike, and I just see a car parked on the side of the road, and someone's like fixing it. So I pulled up, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? Tried to talk to the person, and I got nothing. It was just, it was a nothing.
Generic response.
Yeah. Didn't even like open a dialogue or anything. It was just a nothing. And I was just standing there, and I was like, well, this is just a nice decoration, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, it made me think of like in Red Dead, remember when you're like going along and you have these encounters every once in a while? And I'm like, man, that whole thing, that makes the world feel so much alive. Even if you see the same guy be killed by his horse like 5 times, it still is like, it feels like a real living world. And Cyberpunk just did not feel like, it felt like
a computer game?
It felt like, you know those like shop windows that just have like mechanical...
Yeah.
It felt like that. It felt like I was looking at like a marionette world, and that was like not actually like real.
It was a surface level video.
It was a surface level thing, yeah.
Some parts look good too. But shit, the thing that's gone around the office that I've been hung up on was people saying you can fix it. Maybe you can fix pathfinding. Maybe you can fix the driving AI. Maybe you can fix how the police works.
Yeah, because that's a whole other thing as well.
Yeah,
police just showing up.
But the story, like to criticize the story, I think there is a lot of bad writing in it, just in the story, and I don't think you can patch that out.
Yeah, no, that's in.
You can add to it, but it's it goes into spoiler territory, so I won't talk about it. But there is a very large question posed, idea posed towards the end, and they don't explore it as well as I think other mediums have explored this particular topic. I know I'm vague, but it's a really cool question about like consciousness. So they throw a version out there, but I think even the way they handle it is poor.
It's weird because like so like The Witcher, everyone always is like the Baron quest. The Baron quest is like, that's when it basically grabs everyone. They're like, this game is something else. You know, this whole storyline is amazing, and the way it ends and multiple different endings that people can get. I didn't feel that there was any quest like that in Cyberpunk that made me go, this is Cyberpunk. This is it. Like, I thought there was like a parade quest that was like looked nice visually. But like that stands out to me just because it looked nice. But I also had a graphics problem with that very quest, whereas like I think I died at some point and had to reload, and all the cool like floats and like holographic fish and stuff were just gone.
Oh no!
There was just the whole thing was just
the whole
gone.
parade was gone.
The whole parade was gone, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, it looked incredible, and then it's just the whole thing's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed the parade.
And people, yeah, it was like an empty parade. Yeah.
Yeah, you arrived late.
And then towards the end, like, there's a float that shows up that is like part of the mission, and then it suddenly just popped in.
Oh boy!
And I was like, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's Cyberpunk. That's in my head. That's Cyberpunk to me. Yeah.
I mean, it honestly sounds like you're right.
Yeah.
Buggy, disappointing.
Yeah. Just like, maybe that's the thing, because I started that mission and there's this like, there's this cool like holographic fish there, and you're like, man, this looks incredible, and you're walking around and there's like lanterns everywhere, and like, this looks amazing, and you're like pushing your way through the crowd, and like this, it was just like, this is fantastic. And then when you get into it, it sort of just, and I reloaded, it's gone, and it's just,
it honestly sounds like their efforts were pretty heavily committed to like art assets and beautiful scenery and crafting a detailed world.
Yeah.
And not on like making that world enjoyable to
there's
explore.
Like, it just doesn't feel alive to me. That's really it. And like, there's areas in that I really like there's it's got a lot of verticality, which I really like.
That's cool, because that's also, it's a challenge to do in a game.
Yeah. Like, there's that parade mission I was talking about, that is like high up on these like these bridges that cross between like buildings over like the road below. But like, just in the regular game, you can get up there and there's like the whole market is up there and everything, and it's like really cool. But it's just that thing of like, there's no reason to actually kind of like go up there other than if you have a mission there. Like, I actually ended up finding my way up there by accident, just because I was like trying to explore. I was just being like exploring and being like, I found an elevator and I was like, oh, what's up here? I went up to the market and I was like, wow, this is cool. Nothing up here.
Yeah, that's a bummer, because like a crazy vertical dense city to explore, full of stuff.
Yeah,
sounds amazing, and I think that's the idea that really sold everybody on Cyberpunk. Is like this like dense world.
But it's just like, there are so many places like that where you're like, this looks cool, what is here? And maybe you can talk to one person and they're a shop and you can buy and sell stuff.
Yep, hot dogs.
Yeah,
chips.
Yeah, and then that's kind of it, though.
And burgers.
Yeah, and then that's kind of it. And when you realize that basically every interesting location maybe will have one or two vendors. That's like, why even bother? Like, it just doesn't feel like there's a reason to do things outside the missions.
Yeah. So 9 out of 10?
I don't know, man. Not even 5 out of 7.
Oh, you're telling me it's not perfect?
It's not perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you still rate like Witcher 3?
I still rate Witcher 3 high. The thing is, I even loaded up Witcher 3 on my new computer to see how that was, and I was like, I feel like this game is still better than Cyberpunk.
Interesting.
Maybe I don't know.
What happened?
What
is there like a B team?
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know.
Well, I would say probably
it's
there
like
were
their whole
multiple teams.
I thought it was like their whole company was like on.
I thought so
on
too.
it.
Maybe in the latter half after.
I mean, maybe.
Obviously, once The Witcher 3 came out, they moved people over.
Are
they working on other stuff though?
I mean, they probably are, but nothing that has been announced. Like,
do you think source material influences the way this game was from Witcher, as in
Yeah.
you're a customized character. It's very generic.
Yeah.
And that they have to then design quests around this, rather
Yeah.
than being very specific to
Yes.
Geralt.
Yeah, I think it might be like you are role playing as Geralt, like it is him, and like because you can customize stuff, the way your character like delivers lines and stuff, I often felt that my character just sounded like an asshole no matter what.
In Cyberpunk.
Yeah, in Cyberpunk. Whereas like when Geralt's an asshole, you're just like,
That's
Geralt.
Geralt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I will just put this disclaimer: I haven't played any Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But when you have open systems, when you have a Elder Scrolls style, you can build whatever kind of character you want with these systems. Kind of game. You create design limitations for how you lay out content, how enemies operate, and you need to handle the consequences of that carefully, because otherwise you end up with enemies that patrol back and forth and wait for you to backstab. And like you can have that system but still make it look natural. If a character is like walking back and forth between hostages, for example, then it feels a little more natural. But if they're just walking back and forth between nothing, like there's
also a thing of like, I mean, yeah, this is exactly what you're describing though, but it's just like people just standing and looking at like a wall.
Yeah, if they were looking at their phones or at a terminal or had a VR headset on or something, if there was some reason for them to, it's all about giving the right context. And that is the sort of thing that it takes someone to go through it and say, this doesn't fit the world. There's no context for this. Like, it's actually kind of a story and world building thing. But if you are rushing to put content together that works, you're not going to do that, right?
If you just need to get a stealth,
right? And also, if you don't have the experience of building a open-ended system like that, where you have to handle multiple kinds of content and multiple ways of approaching a problem, these things will seem very minor at the time. All you really want to do is make sure that a stealth character can do this, a melee character can do this, a gun character can do this. Like,
I feel like so I was talking to Fabian at work, one of the other environment artists, and he had a very like run gun game way of playing, and he said he had a great time. He bloody loved it
because he wasn't looking at guys patrolling.
Yeah, he wasn't looking. He was just running in, and he had like he had a like knee slide that like slows down time. So he can just like slide in and just boom, boom, boom. And he's just like shotgun is his main like weapon. And he's playing so differently and having a damn good time. And I'm sitting there going like, man, the stealth thing is so bad.
I would be curious if you feel the motivation. I would be curious for both of you, or at least one of you, to try Cyberpunk again with that type of character.
Yeah, maybe I should.
The running gun?
Yeah.
I can tell you I did some of that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was okay.
Yeah.
Was it better?
I don't know, man. Like, there were so many holes of this game. This is a very large conversation. And no, like, it didn't add to any enjoyment. I really just wanted to get it over and done. Because it's so superficial. It's so shallow that I felt like it was a waste of my time even playing it. I only played it so I can say I played it till the end. I saw what they could produce, and I'm not
impressed.
Not impressed at all.
It's. I mean, it's disappointing. It's disappointing because I wanted it to be so good. Because Witcher was so damn good.
This is what I keep hearing.
Yeah,
but this should be their best piece of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It does. Maybe it is just like they just bit off more than they could chew. Like, and they didn't have the experience making a stealth first-person shooter.
Yeah, when you look at it on paper, it is very ambitious, and so maybe they should have worked up to something like this rather than try to build a futuristic cyberpunk world.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say, but it's just disappointing.
Well, that's basically our time anyway.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to Front Seat Cyberpunk. Next time, I'll probably talk about some of the games I've been playing.
Oh yeah, you ran through a few of the games you were playing, and they sounded like they were all idle games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
But I have a lot of thoughts about idle games, and
Okay.
also the modern approach. I mean, the genre is incremental games, right? It's not necessarily
Really? Is that what they're
specifically-
called?
Yeah, and the
What?
reason they're called incremental games is because it's sort of a constant progression.
Right.
And I'll talk in detail about this.
Is idle games our idle game is that a proper genre?
I mean, most incremental
Or is that
games
just-
have idle components.
is
But hey,
the
you
term...
know what? We'll get into this next time.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts about incremental games, idle games, and the direction of this. And you know what? I think we're going to actually see a lot more of this in other games
Yeah.
to come. Like, I think that it is going to, in many ways, be the sort of next level up system. You know, a lot of games have leveling up,
Yeah.
prestiging, that sort of thing. You're going to see a lot more of that. But you're going to see
Yeah.
a lot of idle game tropes leaking into other game genres.
Yeah.
This is my prediction for the next few years.
Yeah,
of
you,
gaming.
you seeing it as a tool of like retention, mainly.
Retention, progression, and building complexity. But we'll get into it. Anyway, if you've got questions, email friendseekquestions@gmail.com. Hey, you know what? Why don't you email us about idle games and incremental games? Have you been playing any? Let us know.
Email us about Cyberpunk as well.
Email us about Cyberpunk.
I'm interested to hear what other people
Tell us
thought
what
about
build you played and if you had a good time.
it.
And what
Yeah.
weird stuff did you find?
I want to know if people had a good time, because I would like to have a
Good
better time.
Tweet at FrontSeatCast, Facebook.com/FrontSeatCast. You can email us or message us on there. FrontSeatGamer.wordpress.com is our WordPress site. Boy, I'm rusty at reading these. YouTube.com/FrontSeatCast. We have almost 1,000 subscribers. Are you
Almost.
subscribed?
So
Why
close.
not? You should do it. We're on Spotify, on the iTunes. You should rate us. Tell your friends. We love hearing about it. We love hearing from you. We love you. You're loved. Go home. Go in peace.
All right.
And we'll be back in a couple weeks. All right. Bye.
I said we're not talking about Zelda.
Oh.
Game of the year. Your game of the year.
Game of the year every year.
Yeah.
Zelda.
Shit.
Do I have stuff to talk about?
Yeah.
Not really. I played.
Dude, it's been like 2 months.
2 months since we podcasted.
Yeah.
I've played 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mobile game.
Mobile games. How many of those equal? How many mobile games do you think equal a normal game?
It depends on the game, right?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the game.
Yeah, all right.
But
If it's an idle game, like infinite, like it doesn't count.
It's not even anything.
well, those games I was just counting were all idle games.
Oh, so you played no games.
Apparently not. Or I just played.
It's like a stopwatch,
a
man.
diminishing return
Yeah.
of fractions of games.
You should just get a calculator app and just go 1 + 1,
Hey man,
and then everyone and just keep
part
hitting
of-
equal and watch
part
the
of
numbers go up.
part of the draw is seeing how people take on the broad idea of incremental games.
Right.
So, like for example, we'll talk about it.